In this session, we will learn about how to change tables by using alter keyword. So basically, let me open the SQL console. This is the alter syntax to follow. Alter table and then table name, and you need to mention either of these three. Add, drop, alter. Add will add new column, drop will drop the column, alter will change the properties of that column, and then in the brackets you need to provide the column names. Okay, so let's go with the smaller table. So let's take user. Let's see the user table. Open contents. So we have ID and name. Two columns are there in user table with some data. Okay, so my first thing will go with add, then drop, then alter, something like that. Okay, so first I'll use this code alter table, and table name is going to be user, and I'll add one column to the table. So let me open the table definition on the new tab. Okay, so I'll add column name state and varchar of 10. Okay, so this statement is going to alter this table user by adding a new column called state with the property of varchar 10. Okay, let's execute. Successful. Refresh. So we got a new column state varchar 10. Okay, when you preview the data, the added column will be assigning all blanks, because we didn't provided any data to the new column, right? So that's why all values are null values. Okay, and if you add with not null, let's see what happens. Add state, I'll put city varchar 10. If I add not null constraint to this new column, then it will give error because feature not supported. Table must be empty to add not null column, because already we have 3 records in the table, and when we are adding new column with not null, then system won't understand what data should be there. So that's why not null is saying this this is not allowed. So if you want to add not null, then use default value. Default, I'll put some city name SFO. So if we execute this, then it's successfully executed, and we have a city column added, and not null is enabled, and default is SFO. And in this table, you see the SFO is filled with for all rows. So that's how, if you want to add a not null for the new column, then you should provide default value, otherwise it will not accept. So right now this table, in this table we don't have any primary key. So using alter statement, we can also enable primary key. Primary key, and I'll make it ID as a primary key. So this ID column is going to become primary key. So I'm refreshing it, and ID is enabled with primary key not null. And here no difference anyway. Yeah. So like that you can alter table in many ways. Even you can refer SQL guide SQL reference guide, which provides more options in altering the table. Okay, let's see. Drop. Alter table user drop. Anyway, state is blank, so we'll drop it. Drop state. So if I execute this, state is gone and state is gone here. So that's how you can drop a column also. So for example, let's take this statement. If I try to drop ID column, it will fail. Cannot drop column in the primary key column list because we enabled ID column as a primary key. That's why it is not allowing us to delete primary key column. So always, if you want to delete a primary key column, first you need to disable the primary key option on that particular column. So for that, we'll use the same statement. Instead of giving the column name, we'll give keyword primary key. So if I run this, it executed successfully. If you see, ID column will be there, but primary key property is gone. Okay, no change here. Now we can execute this alter table user drop ID. Okay, ID column is gone. Okay, so if you see here, the name field is of nvarchar 10, length is 10. So I'll increase the length from 10 to 15. So let's see how that works. So that is the keyword, last keyword we use, alter. Alter table user and then alter name nvarchar of 15. Okay, it's successful. So now nvarchar 10 is the previous value. If I refresh, it will become 15. But in case now it is 15, right? So if I change it to 5, then let's see what happens. It failed. Feature not supported. Cannot shorten the field length. So you can increase the field length but not decrease the field length. Why it is restricting us to reduce the column size is, if existing data in that column is already more than 5 length, then if we change it to 5, then how system can convert that more than 5 length data into the 5. So that's the reason you cannot shorten the columns. You can increase, even you can increase to 50. So you need to check that compatibility always. So for example, nvarchar to varchar. So it executed successfully. Nvarchar and varchar are compatible to each other. So that's why you can alter a table always when the data is compatible. For example, if you have a string values here and I want to change that string value to the integer, it will fail because string values, how integer can hold it. Modify error, attribute load failed, index user. Okay, something it is giving column store error. Basically, the string value cannot hold in the integer data type. So that's the reason, and it's not changed. Okay, so this is a user table in T4H schema and the type is column store. So with the alter statement we can convert column store table into row store also. Let's see how that works. Same alter table user, and simply mention a row. Okay, now this statement executed successfully. If you refresh, it become row store table. And if you want to change it to column store, then instead of row, use column. Execute it and refresh. So observe here, row store will become column store. So that's how we can use alter statement to modify our tables. So before finishing that, instead of alter, there is another keyword called rename. And rename is going to change the descriptions of a column. It's not going to change the table actually, it's only changing the description of a column. So rename column. So those are the two keywords. Then you need to mention the table name along with field name. So ID, we deleted ID, right? Yeah, we deleted ID. So I'll change the name to username. So table name user dot ID to user underscore ID. So what I am doing, I am renaming a column of table user and the column name is ID to user ID. Okay, invalid column name ID. Okay, sorry, I removed ID, right? Name to username. Okay. Okay, now if we refresh this, name become username and no other property got changed. So that's how you can use rename a column. Not only column, even you can rename table also. For example, rename, instead of column mention table, rename table user to users. Okay, so I'm renaming table user to users, so extra s will add. So if you observe here, after refresh, user become what? Okay, I need to refresh here first. See, users, table name become users, username city. So, and you know the drop column drop table we already covered, right? Drop table users will drop the whole table. Yeah, so that's all about changing table using alter keyword. And also rename keyword is to change the descriptions of a column or a table. Okay, see you in the next session. Until then, happy learning. Bye.